Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. This is the 19th part of What If Deku Was a Magical Girl Mascot, Quirk, Magical Girl Mascot. The author of this great fanfic is Emma Ively. Links to them and original story in the description. Chapter 19, Class 1A's Reaction. They headed to the box. It was a little nerve-wracking. Inko noticed how Katsuki and Izuku were acting. "Remember what I said," said Inko, "about hero students." "I know, but it's just," sighed Izuku. "Izuku, it will be fine," said Inko. Izuku nodded. "You better be right or else they will pay," growled Katsuki. They got to the box with Inko hanging back until a good time to introduce herself. Their classmates looked at them. It was clear that they were all struggling to say something. "Aren't you fuckers going to say something?" said Katsuki. Yaoyorozu, as she was the vice representative, knew she would be the one to talk. "You have no control over what your quirk does," she said. "Really?" asked Izuku. "I found that video of your old school," said Hagakure. "That's messed up that the teachers just let them bully you two like that." "Your quirk shouldn't matter," said Shoji. "Well, that's all fine and dandy," muttered Katsuki, "but what about me and Icy Hot? How long have you even been a girl?" asked Mineta. "Since I was 4. Muttered Katsuki. "I barely even remember being a guy." "Well, that doesn't explain the cursing," said Shoto with a sweat drop. "She picked that from her mom," said Tsuyu. "Sweat drop?" Shoto just looked at her classmates. "Todoroki, we'll help you adjust to what's going on," said Yaoyorozu. "Are you sure?" asked Shoto. "Don't worry," said Shoto. "Yeah. It's not like it's Mineta or Kaminari," said Jiro. "What do you mean?" asked Shoto. So, Todoroki," said Mineta, trying to be subtle and failing at it, "what is it like having boobs?" Shoto's sweat dropped. Especially after Katsuki grabbed him by his hair. "Katsuki, can you please put him down?" asked Inko as she made her presence known. "Fine," said Katsuki, dropping the great pervert. "You're Nizu's assistant," said Yaoyorozu. "That's right," said Inko. Izuku was still being held by Shoto and looked up at her as if saying to let him down. When he was on the ground, he turned into his human form. "This is my mom," said Izuku. "It's nice to finally meet you," said Inko. "My name is Inko Midoriya." "Wait. You're Midoriya's mom?" asked Mineta. Both Izuku and Katsuki glared at Mineta and Kaminari. "Oh, so that's what I did," said Kaminari. "Yeah, talking about how someone is hot in front of their son and niece figure would anger them badly." "Were you hired because of the USJ?" asked Yaoyorozu. "I was," said Inko. "If it weren't for you, All Might and the other teachers probably wouldn't have gotten as soon as they did," said Siro. "He's right," agreed Tokoyami. Inko nodded. That was when everything got started back. "All right. Things have settled down between Todoroki and Midoriya," called out Present Mike. "At least I think they did." "I can't talk about it," muttered Aizawa. "Can't or won't?" asked Present Mike. "Both," admitted Aizawa. The class looked at Izuku and all of his partners. "Don't ask," muttered Katsuki. "It's none of your fucking business." And soon the match began. Ida was able to beat Shiozaki by using his special move and pushing her out of bounds. They all heard Monoma groan on the other side of the wall. "Is he okay?" asked Inko. "He has issues," said Tsuyu. "Okay," said Inko, having heard about one student from Class 1B. Then she noticed Shoto was still there. Shoto, isn't your match next?" Asked Inko. I almost forgot. Thanks Midoriya. Said Shoto leaving. Midoriya? Asked Inko. It's cute. I think it's going to catch on. Giggled Ochako. During the match between Shoto and Tokoyami, both Katsuki and Kirishima left to get ready for their match. After Katsuki left, Ida came back to the box. Good job Ida. Said Izuku. Better than you last match. Said Tsuyu. Please don't mention it. Muttered Ida. However, before me could be said, Ida started to shake for some reason. Ida, are you okay? Asked Izuku. It's just my phone. Said Ida. Of course his phone is on vibrate. Thought Ochako with a sweat drop. He went to take the call, which was his mother. Hello, have you been watching the sports festival? Asked Ida. Also please don't talk about my first match. This isn't about the sports festival. Cried his mother on the other end. It's Tensei, he was attacked by a villain. A few minutes later Ida came back looking very pale. Ida? What's wrong? Asked Izuku. It was clear that Ida need to tell someone, so he, Izuku, Ochako, Tsuyu, Shoto and Inko all went into the hallway. After all that happened earlier, it was a good idea to tell all of them after he was let into their secret. I have to drop out of the sports festival. Said Ida. My brother was patrol and was attacked. Oh no. Whispered Ochako. Is he alright? Asked Izuku. I don't know, but I'm going to the hospital. Said Ida turning to Shoto. I'm sorry I'm unable to have the match. It's fine, your family is more important. Said Shoto. I'll help you inform the rest of the staff. Said Inko. Thank you. Said Ida. The two left to inform the staff. The others returned to the box as Shoto lost. Is Ida okay? Asked Hagakure. None of them answered. And soon enough it was time for the next match, which was Katsuki and Kirishima. Before the match got started, Kirishima knew he had to say something. Hey, I didn't want to say this in front of everyone, but it doesn't matter if you were born a guy or not. You're still the same Bakugo. Katsuki started to blush. She then scoffed and looked away, but she was still blushing. Like what I care about what you think. She muttered. And begin. Called out Midnight. Aren't you going to transform? Asked Kirishima. Sorry, but you're not on my list of people I was planning to transform in order to fight. Said Katsuki. Oh come on. Complained Kirishima. It was a long fight. Kirishima's hardening was a good defense against Katsuki's explosions. However, Katsuki knew to play the long game and wait until he couldn't hold it anymore. And soon enough she was able to beat him by creating a large explosion and knocking him out. Ijiro Kirishima is unable to battle. Katsuki Bakugo goes on to the next round. Called out Midnight. Katsuki smirked. Unfortunately, I have some bad news. The next fight has been cancelled as Tenya Ida has dropped out of the sports festival due to a family emergency. What? Yelled Katsuki, surprised. We'll be taking a short break so that Katsuki Bakugo can rest before her next match. Said Midnight. Kakun. Cried out Izuku, turning on the connection. Leg day better have a good reason for this. Thought Katsuki as she headed to a place she could take a break. His brother was attacked by a villain. Explained Izuku. Shit. Mentally yelled Katsuki, no longer angry at Ida. What the fuck is up with today? It's just one of those days. Inko tried to reassure her. Hopefully nothing else will happen today. Ochako tried to look on the bright side. If something fucking happens, I'm blaming you. Muttered Katsuki. What did I do? Asked Ochako. You tempted fate. Thought Tsuyu, taking Katsuki's side. You might as well doomed one of us. Thought Katsuki. Maybe we should go. said Izuku. Wait. I just realized something. Did Icy Hot put on a bra? Asked Katsuki. There was an awkward silence. What? Asked Shoto. I knew we forgot something. Thought Achiko. This is going to be awkward. Thought Tsuyu. Katsuki sighed as the conversation ended. In the Class 1A box, Tsuyu walked over to Yayorozu. Hey, we forgot to get Shoto a bra. She whispered. Oh dear. Replied Yayorozu. Did I hear correctly, Todoroki isn't wearing a bra? Asked Mineta. Yayorozu and Inko, who had returned before Katsuki's match, pushed Shoto out of the box to make her a sports bra that would fit and to help her with it. While Achiko, Tsuyu, Jiro, Hagakure and Ishido, who had returned during Katsuki's match much like Inko, surrounded him. Said Mineta, what if Midoriya's mom comes back? We'll figure something out. Said Jiro. In the waiting room, Momo managed to get her size and make a sports bra for her. Do I have to wear this? She asked. I'm sorry. Sighed Inko. It comes with being a girl. Sighed Yayorozu. Shoto nodded. Thankfully it being a sports bride was easy to put on. Thank you. Said Shoto. If you need anything else, just tell me. Said Yayorozu. Okay. Said Shoto, not getting it. Inko and Yayorozu looked at each other and realized that they shouldn't explain it, especially since Shoto was in the finals. Not a good time to learn about that. We'll leave you to get ready for your match. Said Inko. Shoto nodded. The two left her to get ready for the finals. Thank you, Yayorozu. Said Inko. It's no problem. Said Yayorozu, I saw one of those videos. It was a video of a bunch of girls taunting Katsuki about how she'll never be a real girl and Izuku trying to make sure she didn't attack them back. Katsuki was the one to leak them on the internet. Said Inko. Really? Asked Yayorozu. I'm surprised that she did that. Said Inko, but of course she'd deny it. Yayorozu nodded, it made a lot of sense. They got back to the box, and found Mineta covered in bruises. Are you okay? Asked Inko. I'm fine, don't worry about me. Said Mineta, trying not to cry. All right. Yelled Present Mike, here's the only match for the semifinals. And yet after a Quirk emergency and someone dropping out, it's still not the worst sports festival that UA ever had. Muttered Aizawa. Everyone heard Present Mike shudder at the memory so many badgers. So does anyone know what they're talking about? Asked Sato. You don't want to know. Said Izuku. The lone semifinal match soon began with Katsuki versus Tokoyami. Dark Shadow had a weakness to light, the stronger the light the weaker it would become. So even though she wasn't in magical girl mode, Katsuki won her match hands down. Once the match was over, she headed to the waiting room. She saw that Shoto was in there. What the fuck, Icy Hot? Yelled Katsuki. Then she realized it was the wrong waiting room. Oh, seriously? Muttered Katsuki. She looked at Shoto and sighed. Look, you better use your. Said Katsuki. I know I have to use my fire. Yelled Shoto suddenly. Katsuki stared at Shoto. I wasn't expecting that. Sighed Katsuki. I'm sorry. Said Shoto. It's a shitty day. Muttered Katsuki. If I had just used my fire in the first place. Muttered Shoto, then maybe none of this would have happened. Your father's a shitbag who messed you up, but that doesn't mean using your fire makes you him, said Katsuki. Shoto sighed. I wasn't going to even say use your fire. I was going to tell you to use your new powers. Said Katsuki. Shoto looked up. You have new powers, so I expect another magical girl match. Make your own choice with how to use powers. Said Katsuki, use your fire if you want, your choice. Shoto was quite after that, she couldn't say anything else. Though if I were you, said Katsuki, I'd say use your fire in ways that human trash fire would use his. Shoto was surprised. Katsuki began to leave. Wait. I have something to ask you, how do you get used to it? Asked Shoto. Katsuki sighed. I told you I barely remember ever being a guy, said Katsuki, so I can't really say. Shoto sighed. Look, we already told you're not alone, muttered Katsuki, even if we're going to be fighting in a few minutes. Shoto nodded. You better be a magical girl for the fight, muttered Katsuki, because I won't go easy. Shoto nodded as Katsuki finally left. Soon it would be the final match. And the first fight Shoto would have as a magical girl. That will be it for this part. I hope everyone enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like and comment if you want part 20. If you want to hear more from me, subscribe. I hope to see you all in the next one.